What's up YouTube? Back with another video. Today we're going to be wrapping the quarter panel of the TLX. As you can see, I've already taped off the gas cap area because I'm going to do that in a separate piece to make sure I have full coverage. And I'm going to be cutting on the actual tape to make sure I have full coverage on the inside when I go ahead and lay it in there. Rear bumper came off, tail lights came off, the trunk is propped open. Have the door open because I want to make sure I have full coverage in here, so when I do cut it I have about ½ an inch of vinyl to tuck within, so when you close the door you won't see the gray. But yeah, everything's prepped, everything's clean. Down here you can see it's already white on the bottom because the vinyl, I didn't have enough vinyl to actually wrap the A-pillar all the way back to the side skirt in one piece, so I did that in a separate piece. Also, like I said before, Acura does have this like tacky rubbery underspray on the side skirt, which is really weird, but I'm hoping the vinyl will stick to it, and if it does fail I can redo it in that one piece rather than doing the whole quarter panel. So I just thought ahead while I did that. But right now we're ready to wrap the car. Everything's clean. I'm going to go ahead and set the vinyl and lay it down, and then we're going to start pulling it back and wrapping it. So let's go. Alright, I got a little bit of excess on the top, so I'm just going to trim it off with the zippy and make it a little easier for me to install. Spare pieces always goes inside the car so it doesn't get damaged or dirty. Alright, so the first part I want to do is the back. We're going to roll it in and then we're going to lay down the bottom. Once those big major areas are down, we can start working towards the top of the B pillar and A pillar area, and that'll be the last thing to do. So making sure I have full coverage on both corners of the back and as well as all the other edges is very essential. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this back and lay it down. Alright, before I do anything, I'm going to try to glass the back, and then I'm going to slowly release the bottom and glass that. That way we can work in sections rather than trying to remove the whole thing and just be a complete mess if something happens. So now that's glass, I'm going to go ahead and work on the bottom. Right there is looking good so far. I'm going to go ahead and finish up this bottom section and then move on. So got the new blade. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the vinyl away from the panel to give it tension as you cut. So, you know, a couple inches at a time, just move your fingers with it. Of course, if you cut it like this, it's gonna be too flaccid that it'll just give you wavy lines. You can use knifeless tape and lay underneath the jam or area and then lay the vinyl down and rip it out after, but I'm just gonna go ahead and hand cut because I'm pretty comfortable with that. So starting a couple inches above where I need to go, and then just slowly trim it. Again, moving your fingers with your blade so you have tension. Give it a nicer, cleaner cut. And then down here, just reverse the blade and go the other way. So that looks pretty good. Let me zoom in so you can see. So that's about 1/4 inch. That's what I'm gonna match all the way through. And then we should be able to just heat it up slightly and just roll it in with your thumb. So I'm gonna continue cutting the rest of the back of the car, and then we're gonna come back and then slowly roll this in. So once we cut and trim all the excess out, we're gonna go ahead and put some heat on it very, very lightly and slowly roll it in a couple millimeters at a time. You don't wanna just press in one section and start working it out because it'll start bunching up eventually. So the key is just to keep it very elastic by adding an even amount of heat and then slowly working it in with your thumb with the wrap glove on. So we're gonna do that right now. And start down here and go all the way up. Again. And that is how you seal an edge. Super easy, about 3 passes with moderate heat. And looks pretty good, you know. Like I said, you just want to make sure you slowly pivot a couple millimeters at a time as you roll the edge in, and you will never have any problems. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of this quarter panel in the same method I just showed you now, and I'll bring you guys in when we're ready to cut. Alright, so next we got to actually cut out the taillight area. Same thing, I'm going to use about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of excess vinyl so I can tuck it underneath. That way you won't see the gray underneath it and things like that, and it'll look like paint. So very easy. The sharp blade, take your time and cut this out. Usually for the corner down here, I like to really make sure it's rounded off perfectly, and I hit it with some heat prior to cutting so that the vinyl will shrink itself back to its regular shape and hug the edges and corners. Then I will let it cool down completely before I cut, making sure it cuts a nice smooth line rather than you know, like a Ripley effect from the vinyl being so soft. So this is super easy. You can see in my previous videos, you literally just back it up about 1/2 inch to 1 inch. You're gonna stretch it cold, wrap it around, lay the vinyl down, and roll those edges in. Once you roll enough of it in, when you hit it with the heat, you will see it shrink itself back. At that point, you want to slowly roll the edges away from the corner, and it'll give you a nice rounded edge. So that's what I did here. Okay, so as I cut this piece, I want to make sure I cut right at the end of that edge. Okay, I just started it like that, and then I'm going to finish up this this line right here. Okay, super easy. I'm going to do the same for the bottom. Make sure that's rounded off. So hit the corner and push the vinyl away from it. So the vinyl's gonna go this way and that way. If you have the vinyl going, if you just push down and go straight with the edge, it's gonna bunch up eventually with heat. So just having it rolled back a little bit really helps. So right here on the corner, as you cut to the corner, you want to just cut away from it when you're done, because you want to have that extra slack right here to kind of work those edges and corners in. Just makes it a lot easier to work with. If you were just cut straight out, you know, you're pretty much stuck with that unless you're really good with the actual blade to make a clean cut afterwards. My thing is, you're gonna have to wrap a couple panels, a couple cars, lots of hours of work to get it right. But being good at using the blade takes a lot of practice. So make sure you practice, take your time, don't go heavy on the cuts, just glide it through and it'll do the work for you. So now we're gonna put some heat on these edges and tuck it in, and it's gonna look super clean. Alright, just test fitted the tail light and it looks phenomenal. Can't even tell that it is wrapped at all. Edges look great. Same there. Making sure there's full coverage all the way through. Don't want to see any gray in there. Even the cut down here, it's perfectly clean. Right there, that's an imperfection from the factory. It's actually like a weld or something. But right now, all we need to do is cut this piece off, which is super easy because the quarter panel is like, I don't know, I would say 1/8 of an inch thick. So all you have to do is just really heat the bottom part of this vinyl in to loosen up the tension, and then you want to just roll that vinyl into the inner edge and then just put a blade right into it like that and just cut all the way through. Probably show you a time lapse of that. I don't want to explain too much, but it's super easy. Of course, all this tension right here, the lines, there's two tension points. You could just cut it right here to relieve the tension, which is what I'll probably end up doing before I do the final cut. As well, I laid knifeless tape here over the side skirt so that I can cut this extra piece off and overlay the quarter panel into it to make it one piece. And also, as you can see, I did the edge. Super nice, super clean. All I have to say is take your time. Lots of practice. I'm not a professional, not even near a professional. I just learned as I go. I watch a bunch of Christians video on CK Raps YouTube channel. Very helpful guy. As you can see, tucked away. Doesn't have to be completely straight, just make sure it's completely tucked. That way the seal will cover it completely. So yeah, now I'm gonna go ahead and finish doing the wheel well, doing the knifeless tape, doing the gas tank, and I'm gonna show you exactly how this is gonna look like when it's done. So give me a second. Alright guys, we just finished wrapping the driver's side of this TLX. It was fairly easy to do. It's just very time consuming because of some of the intricate corners and body lines. So I can, like, you know, slowly work my way around the edges to make sure it looks clean. But as you can see, it is almost done. I just gotta do the door handles and put them in today with the door panels, and then I can slowly move the cars to the side so I can do the passenger side tonight. So it's looking good. I think what we're gonna end up doing is wrapping the roof black. Keep it gloss black to kind of break it away on some of the colors. As you can see, the mirrors, it comes factory with a gloss black bottom and a colored cap. So I think we're just gonna keep it symmetrical in terms of color balance on this car. Still looking for vinyl. If you follow me on social media, you know that I'm looking for someone to get me APA vinyl. I don't know if I'm gonna get it done by this weekend. Everyone around here seems to not want to do business. I don't know why. People just sleeping on money. But I'm gonna try to get as much done as possible, and we'll come back to the next video and show you the update of the car. It's looking good so far. Super nice and shiny. But I'll see you guys on the next one. So stay tuned and like, comment, and subscribe. Like always. Peace.
Forever